The mic is on.
The
mic is on.
Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Okay, we're gonna do that again. I didn't even count down. Okay. Okay.
And as you all know, this is just the beginning. It's your girl, Lexi, live.
Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It's Lexi Live with Brianna Esther. This is my girl. Hey girl. Okay, so Bri and I met 3 years ago. We literally just did the math.
Yeah.
And we're kind of like shocked because 2020 was not real.
It wasn't real. It wasn't real. It was not real. It wasn't. I'm telling you. It was not real.
Yeah, we met at a birthday party. Michaela's birthday party. Shout out Meeks. And we learned that we are very similar.
In many ways.
We're birthdays. Well, this is like my soul sister. Our birthdays are 2 days apart. Mm-hmm. We have the same tattoo.
In the same place.
They both say Faye. So I was like, girl, shut up.
I was like, girl. Mind you, we didn't find all this out till like 3 a.m. that morning.
No, we were literally like.
That sleepover. So we were just, literally, yeah.
And it was like, the whole night, it was like the Spider-Man meme. We were like.
It was like, I would say something, she'd be like, I'm like, and then it would be a switch off. So then she would be like, yeah, me too. And I was like, girl, me too.
No, it literally, like.
Yeah.
We were like, what is happening here?
We were soul sisters.
Yeah. And I will say to like relationships and friendships, you never know when people will come along in your life journey.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to necessarily be about how long you've known someone when you have depth. Yes.
Depth over length any day.
Yes, in your
depth
relationship. So, yeah, that's how we met.
It's been 3 years. It's a blessing.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yes, because we've had our heart-to-hearts in living rooms, wee hours in the mornings.
Several.
Parked car conversations.
Several.
We have cried tears and
in the middle of church.
Yeah.
Like, church is over, the sermon is ended, and we're sitting here crying.
Like, no one's in the sanctuary.
Like, no one's in the sanctuary.
It's literally just sitting there.
We've had heart-to-hearts, like, when it's like 90 degrees outside with a snow cone. Like, just.
Yeah, drinking.
Yeah,
laughing.
Oh, Lord. This is going to be a long episode. Oh, Lord.
Oh, my gosh, that was another thing. When I met her, she was the only person that understood
all the TikTok.
My TikTokanese. I would say something and she would like finish a sentence. I'm like, you get me.
You get it. You understand me. If you understand my references, I know we're going to be friends. Because that's how my mind works.
Yeah. And it's not all the time that you have similar For You pages. And ours just, for some reason, are like.
It was the same.
Yeah.
It was the same.
Oh no. Yeah, we've rejoiced over each other's obedience. Mm-hmm. Talked about creative ventures, just all the things.
Yeah. It's been very multi-dimensional. That's been a blessing. Like, I haven't had to shortchange any aspect of myself in this friendship, but I think that's been very good.
Being able to show up just as we are. We're comfy.
As
okay?
goofy. Yeah, girl.
Wow, this is like how we met.
This is. It's a couch conversation. We just go,
That's crazy.
We keep back forward.
Yeah, wow. Okay. Yeah, that's a lot to who we are.
Yeah. For the background.
Yeah. Well, we can jump right in.
Yeah, let's do it.
Bree has a podcast made in his image.
I do.
So, kind of talk to us about how this came about. Like, the thought process, like, how you knew, like, this is something that I need to do, and then how you went about doing it.
So, okay, I'm gonna like go backwards. I'm gonna start from the very beginning. it actually started as me wanting to do a YouTube channel. I never told anybody that. I wanted to do YouTube. But I talked myself out of it several times. Imposter syndrome.
I was going to say imposter. I really want to be like, imposter, we don't know her.
We don't know her. Who's she? But I talked myself out of it just for whatever reason. And I think I still had some maturing to do. Not saying that I couldn't have done it, but like I do think I needed to grow up some. And so I remember how the name came about. I was driving in the car on my way to work, and the song "On and On" by Erykah Badu was playing. And in the chorus, she says, "If we were made in His image, then call us by our name." And so those 4 words stuck. And I was like, I didn't know what it meant, but I'm like, made in His image. It literally just stuck. This was in 2021.
Yeah. And
so as months go by, months just like are going on and on, I'm feeling this call, and I don't even know if that's the word, but I just kept feeling this urgency. Let me say that.
Like a tug in your spirit.
Yes, and I could not. And there wasn't a day that passed where that didn't happen. That didn't occur. No, not at all. And so it just kept coming up. It kept coming up. It kept coming up, and I ran from it because. Because like I was like, I don't want to do that, and I just for whatever reason I talked myself out of it again. And so when it was finally time for me to just like, I guess really start getting into it, I was in a place where I didn't know what I was doing with my life. I wasn't full-time teaching, but I saw all of my other friends pursuing their creative pursuits. Photography, podcasting. I had a lot of friends that were doing the things that I wanted to start doing. And so they were just like, if you put as much into yourself as you do in supporting us, I think you would be where you want to be. And I was like, okay, well, listen, thanks. And then I recorded my first episode in May of 2022. I did not release the podcast until February 2023. But there was it was an urgency. It was a calling. It was like the Lord kept telling me, I've given you a voice. You keep thinking it's insignificant, but I'm going to be the voice. You just have to be the mouthpiece.
Which, that reminds me, like, you saying that makes me think of Moses, but then you saying that makes me think of your podcast episode when you were talking about, I think, what mirror are you looking in? Because you referenced Gideon. Yeah.
So, Gideon, that was a very personal message because I was Gideon. In times I still do struggle to be Gideon because every time God meets me with a call or something to do, I meet him with excuses. I say, I'm the least in my present. Right here.
Guilty.
Yeah.
Guilty. What did Cookie say? Oh my gosh. Guilty.
Guilty. It's the way you act. I just can't meeting God be like, I'm not capable of that. Or I saw myself as so small.
Yeah.
Like the report, when they came back from viewing the land of milk and honey, said we saw ourselves as grasshoppers. I gave God the report of I'm not qualified. I can't do that. I'm not good enough for that. Or I would say I don't think anybody would really listen. Mm-hmm. And so it was like, all right, God, you won't leave me alone. Mm-hmm. Nicely, I didn't say this with an attitude, but I'm like, okay, obviously you keep telling me this, and there's a call you put over my life, and it's not like it's nothing I haven't done before. Like I've discussed I've talked about how good you've been in my life, at camps, in regular conversations with people. So we're just going to create a conversation around what you're doing in my life, what I've seen you do. And then like, I knew a lot of Bible. I still know a lot of Bible. And so it was like, just share it. Cause like all the gospel, Jill Scott, she had said this. She was like, there comes a time, Jill Scott.
Oh, Jill Scott.
She had said, on her verses with Erykah Badu, another full circle moment, she was like, there comes a time where your gift doesn't belong to you anymore and it has to be shared. And I didn't know my gift was like my words and, the things and the wisdom that the Lord had given me. And so I said, okay.
Yes.
I said, okay. I'm going to stop fighting you on this.
Just lean in.
I'm going to put as much money on myself as I do on other people.
And I think even with that's with anyone that has any creative pursuit or something that it's just outside of the norm, or it's like the idea or the thing that's like burning inside of you, but you're just like, I don't know, like, because I know like with writing the book, I felt like
oh,
and I felt like Jonah.
That's a good book, y'all. Shameless place.
then when it came to me starting my YouTube channel, like after I graduated college, I was just like, for years people have been telling me, like, I'm talking middle school, high school, like, you should start a YouTube channel. And I'm like, who's gonna watch it? And
Who's
like,
gonna watch me stop?
like,
yeah.
I think everyone's go-to turns to, well, who's gonna listen? Who's gonna tune in?
No one's gonna connect with anything I have to say.
So it just kind of comes like this self-defeating talk that we talk ourselves out of the thing that could potentially maybe change your life one day.
And it will change your life simply because it's out of obedience.
Boom.
Which is why. Let me let that breathe. But that's why Gideon was such a personal story for me, was because every solution that, like, the angel of the Lord gave him, he met him with another problem. And some things it's just like, you just gotta, towards the end of the story, he said, hold on, like, let me get some stuff together, wait here, so I know it's you that's talking to me. And then by the end of the verse, he said, for I know that I've seen the Lord face to face. Like, I didn't believe who I was even talking to, that you would call me, because he said, I can't believe I'm even talking to the Lord right now. And so by the end of the scripture, you see Gideon have a mirror moment of not looking in the mirror of his problems or the mirror of his past, but the mirror of his maker. And okay, if this is who I am, then this must be my truth. And if this is who is calling me, then this must be my truth, not my past, not my problems or my flaws.
Yeah. So, yeah. It's like God was also very patient with him. Yeah. Because he continued to reaffirm who he knew he was, but he also was like, Gideon was like, give me a sign. Okay, one more time. Okay, sorry, last time, but one more time.
Like, give me like one more little thing.
And he met him each time.
With patience.
Yes.
With kindness, like,
yes,
this is what I said.
To encourage him, to reaffirm him, to let him know, like, you're not tripping. I think also whenever we try to talk ourselves out of things, it's because we're relying on our strength and more on ourselves than we are on Christ. And I literally did a YouTube video. Well, I filmed the video a long time ago. I released it like a week ago. Well, it doesn't matter because this video is not being released anytime soon.
But when you see it,
the imposter syndrome video that I released.
Oh, that's gonna be good. That's gonna be so good.
Wait until you.
I can't wait to listen.
No, it's up, but you're in for a surprise. No, but I literally was talking about that.
Yeah.
Like, we have to remind ourselves that God is walking with us. He sent us, like he said in Joshua, like, I am with you, do not be afraid. Like, he's walking with us each step. Even though we might be like, I don't really know, but I'm gonna go anyways. I
don't know, but I'm gonna go anyways. What? That's it. That's a lie. Let's just put that on a shirt. Or the hat.
I don't know, but I'm gonna go.
I don't know, but I'm gonna go.
Yeah.
That's really.
We're trademarking it.
Like, trademarking
don't try
that.
and take it.
Patent pending, copyrighted book.
Signed, sealed, delivered, done.
It comes down to that. It comes down to, like, I don't feel anybody in the Bible. I was reading Hebrews 4 the other day, and it was yesterday, and it was about by faith, Abraham, by faith, Moses, by faith, meaning not by anything you see, strictly off of word. You don't have to feel like it. You don't even have to 100% agree with it. If you go,
and then as we step, is how we begin to see. But we have to step.
One foot in front of the other. Put the foot down.
Okay, so that was how Made in His Image was birthed.
Yeah.
How do you know when you're hearing from God? And what does that kind of look like for you? We know God is very vast, so He speaks to everyone in many different ways. But how do you know for you in your life and your journey what that sounds like, what that looks like?
What I'm hearing from God.
Yeah.
I'm actually learning that right now.
Okay.
I feel like because He's doing a new thing, quote unquote, in my life, even the way He speaks to me has changed. Not saying that He has changed, but in the way that I am opening myself to receive has changed a little bit. So I feel like, for one, I have to line it up with what his word says. Because if I hear something, but it doesn't line up with his word, it's not from him. It's not from him because he's his word.
Yes.
And he's not going to tell me anything that I can do in my own strength.
That's good.
Like, he'll tell me something, but it'll be like, I can't do this without you. And even if it is something I'm already good at, or something he's already said, there's still a heavy reliance I have to have on him in making sure that I hear his voice throughout. Because I can hear his voice in the beginning, go about doing my own thing, no longer hear his voice. So it's just like consulting him every step, each moment, each minute, play by play.
Yeah.
Like, play by play.
So we don't try to make his thing our thing.
Because it very easily, and that's a battle I'm currently fighting as well, it's so easy for something that he created to become your own thing when you think that you have control over it. Or even when you think that, I got this.
You don't got this.
You don't got this. You don't got this.
Yeah.
I ain't got this. And relying heavier on it. Is this what his word says? And is anything I'm hearing something that does not match up with his character?
That's good. I love that.
I'm still learning it.
I
still
think
guiding through that, honestly.
in all of our journeys, I feel like we are, because when I came home, because I was just like, God, what?
Yeah.
Like, you told me to go. Why am I here? Right? And so I was like, maybe I'm tripping. Maybe I missed something. Maybe I'm not hearing you correctly.
Mm-hmm.
So
maybe I missed something. Sorry.
I will say Priscilla Shire's Starting the Voice of God, the book, really revolutionized my walk with Christ and like me hearing from him. And I'm now going through her Discerning the Voice of God study.
That's good. I need to get that book, actually.
So, like, I did it once in a Connect group some years ago, but like I wasn't consistent in going to the Connect group.
Yeah.
Like, I went, and every time I went, it spoke to me, but I'm like, I want to be consistent this time and like.
Yeah. And follow through.
Yeah, so that's what I'm working with, because I'm just like, God, I want to make sure that I'm hearing you, and I don't want it to be me. Like, I don't want it to be what I want and my will and my desires. I want it to make sure that whatever you're telling me, that I'm doing it, I'm hearing correctly, and I'm walking in that.
And with that, sometimes I may not hear from him until I finish out the first thing I was supposed to do.
Exactly.
So, like, I'll be asking, okay, am I supposed to do this? And I gotta go back to the first thing he said. And I may not hear from him for a little minute. Not because he's not speaking.
But because he's not going to tell us anything else until we do the last thing that he told us to do.
Did you do the last thing I told you? No? Okay.
That's why when I came home and Pastor Robert was in a series on Jonah, it was so, like, in my business, because he was like, God will throw you up to the last place that you fail to obey. So I'm like, why am I back at home? But I got a book that was waiting on me to be finished. And I just felt like once I finished it, that the fog had lifted.
Wow.
And I was just like...
And we saw that in real time.
Yeah.
I saw that happen in real time with you. Yeah.
Because I literally was like, I don't know what's going wrong.
I remember that sermon.
I don't know what's happening. I don't know what life is. It's like, if it don't get better after the book, then I don't know.
I don't know what to tell you.
So.
But I remember after the book, you showed me in the sermon that was preached, I forget her name. Bianca. And she just confirmed everything in that book. And that was proof positive that, like, you had to go back and do that first thing that the Lord told you. And then you saw the full circle moment of a finished thing.
And it was so crazy because that Sunday, like, it was my first Sunday back.
It was.
Like, physically. I had been watching, I think, online. And I had just finished, like, literally just finished my book. Like, I had sent it off to the person to, like, format it and all of that.
Yeah.
And I was expecting Pastor Robert back because they had been on sabbatical.
Right.
And we had a guest preacher, and I was like, okay, that's cool. And there was, like, people had books in their seats. I'm like, who is here? And so I, like, typed in the name of the book that I saw, and when I realized who wrote it, I was like, and I could just feel myself getting emotional already because I was like, No way. Like, because I talk about her in my journey, and I'm just like, this is insane.
That was a little birdie.
Literally, like, I felt like God had personally delivered her to church that Sunday for me to be like a nod from him. Like, yep. Because she covered literally everything. Everything that I talked about. Like, I was like, what?
I love when he confirms that our obedience not only was not in vain, but that he saw us throughout the whole process.
Yes.
Because the in-between, I was like, come on. I'm struggling right now. Yeah. Got to see it through.
My boy. Has there been a point in your life where you may have felt distant from God? And if so, what was that like? And what did you do to regain your closeness to him? I feel like this ties into hearing from him, so that's why I'm like, we'll go this way.
That's good. Yes. Let me say yes. Several times I have felt distant from the Lord. And you asked, how did I get back?
Yeah, like how did you regain your closeness?
So, whenever I found myself in those really distant moments, 10 times out of 10 it's because I walked away. 9 times out of, I'm going to say 10. And I'm going to say me. It's me. I'm a problem. 10 times out of 10 was because it was because I distanced myself and walked away. And like I said, sometimes the Lord is silent. Just so our trust and faith can be developed. But when I was distant, there was me that was running the show. And so it comes with me really having to come to the end of myself, of my plans, of my pride, of my selfishness, even out of my own pity parties. Sometimes my distance is because I'm just throwing a pity party of one for a long period of time. And and or maybe I just get too deep in my feelings where I don't want to hear from him. I mean, like I
literally just had one of those moments.
Yeah.
Like last week I was not talking to anyone, and I was like, and God, I really don't. I was still praying. Like the crazy thing is,
I was still praying. I'm still turning on Madison Ryan Ward. I'm still listening to Elevation Worship. I might even throw on a sermon. But I just want to be upset and throw a pity party.
And that was because I literally was like, how are you mad? Talking about something you don't want to talk to God, yet you're still doing it. Worship is still going. You're still listening to the sermon, taking notes. Still, I was like, girl.
What is it? What is it? And like whenever I get there, where else can I go? Cause I can go somewhere else. I'm gonna come down from that high or that place and be exactly where I was before, probably lower.
No, because I literally, when I get to that place, there's always a thought like, there's alcohol. And I'm like, but then
there's a wine bottle downstairs.
Yeah, but then I literally will be like,
that's gonna
that
satisfy
does nothing.
It's gonna
so
satisfy nothing.
Like, I'm not even gonna give in to that because
I'm
gonna still be mad.
I'm gonna still pray. I'm gonna still pray. And so whenever I find myself there, it's me coming to the end of myself and deciding, let me get up. Let me pray. Sometimes it's not a quick comeback. Some days it may take me like a week to really just feel his closeness again. I remember there was a period of time in my life, it was like, I felt like a 2-month, maybe 3-month distance from God. I was still praying. I was still going to church. I was still serving. But I just felt like I couldn't hear from him or really get that intimacy that I needed. And sometimes you just got to trust that he's listening, even if you don't hear him or feel him. Because his spirit...
Because he's still there.
He's still there. He's omnipotent. So he's... Whether you feel it or not,
he's there.
He's there. And having to trust that he's there when you don't feel it.
And I think also that just like... I feel like as we mature... We don't hear him as loud as we may have in the beginning. So I think that too can play a part into thinking like, we're not talking like we used to talk. Like,
let's see.
Maybe Well, I guess what I'm trying to say is, like, we might think that we're farther away than what we really we might not be as far away as we think that we are, simply because of how our relationship has matured.
So, bingo, that word right there, matured. So, as our relationship with God has matured, it's less about emotion. It's less about how I feel. It's less about, does oceans make me cry? It's less about trusting God. Do I just lift my? It's less about how I feel in the moment. One of the ways I know I've matured is that I've stopped looking for myself in the Bible, and I've said, Lord, what is it that you want me to know more about your character in every book that I read?
That's good.
What is more that I can learn about you that I can depend on when I'm not feeling it? Because I'm not going to feel it most of the time. Or like even half the time.
And feelings are fickle. You up one day and low one day.
Feelings are employees. They do not run the show. They don't run the show. They're indicators.
Yes.
Tim, she has in her song Free Mind, she says, the fear of my mind is a warning. Pray to the one that you rely in. So the fact that I'm experiencing something right now is proof, I need to go pray. I need to talk to God because what I'm feeling is not... I need to get to the bottom of it. And he's the only one that he created this. He wired me this way. So in order for me to get to the bottom of it, I need to go to the manufacturer that knows where this is coming from or can even give me language for it. And so it's just, you got to come to the end of yourself. And I've reached out to you several times saying, hey, can you pray for me? I ain't got it right now. I ain't got it. I don't know what I ain't got, but I ain't got it. And so... And just trying to stay there. Sometimes you just gotta stay there, even if you don't feel it, because he's still there.
And I think, like, even you saying, like, reaching out to your friends, to your community, like, and relying on them, because there's been so many times when I felt like I didn't have the faith, and they have seen me like in a daze almost, and I'm like, I don't got it. I don't want to believe. I don't want to keep going. I don't want to fight. Like, I'm over it. Yeah. And I've been on FaceTimes or phone calls, and people will be like, well, if you can't believe it, I'm believing for you. Yeah. And I would just, like, will be on the phone, like, mute.
Okay.
I think that's really real because oftentimes people see, oh, you have all the faith in the world. Oh, look, you're doing this, you're doing
that. They see the Instagram posts. They see the hands lifted in worship.
The
smiles, the after church talks, the FaceTimes, the joy. But when that door closes and it's just me and God.
But when I get home, what Mary say? And get the eye closed doors. Man, I hit the floor.
I hit the... You can audibly hear me hit the floor.
Boy.
Like falling out. Because I just don't have it. And I'm just like, do I not trust you? Like, I really battle with myself of like, how did I get here? How did I get to this really, really low place? And some days all I can do is just ask you to pray for me. Because it's just like, I don't have it. And I'm like, the worship song is not hitting. And the sermon, it's good. But it's like, it's not like, I just don't feel it.
No,
I don't feel it.
I think anybody that's listening will understand. Because I get it. Like, yes. Yeah. All of those things. Because, like, it's like nothing. I'm trying everything and I feel like nothing is, like, sticking.
I'm trying.
Yeah.
I'm trying. Please don't say I'm not trying. I'm trying.
Yeah. Sometimes it just feels like things aren't sticking like you need them to.
And honestly, I after going through months, like it was more than 3 of being in that place, I am reminded it wasn't from anything. Because where else was I going to go?
Did you hear me? It was so silent.
It
wasn't like loud.
I'm reminded, like, outside of you, there's nothing. Mm-hmm. So if I have to stay here, okay. I trust. I can, even though I don't feel you, I trust you're still here. I trust you're still good. I trust your character. I trust your heart. I trust that you're a father that is gentle and lowly. I trust you're a father who weeps when I weep, and mourns when I mourn, and rejoices when I rejoice. So if I'm mourning right now, you're going to sit with me And you're going to put my face in your hands and say, I've seen you this whole time. And we're going to get through it.
Oh, I love that so much. I hope y'all are enjoying this. This is good. Good stuff. This is good.
Let's rate it 1 through 10.
Oh my gosh. I was listening to one of your podcasts and you touched on grief. And how sometimes we can kind of shut people out when we're dealing with it. So I guess, what's a moment in your life that you're willing to share that you've had to battle with grief of something and had to, like, how you overcame it?
I'd be more than happy to talk about this. It's just, if we go there, girl, we're going there. We're going there. I'm letting you know.
Oh gosh, okay, I'm nervous.
Okay. It's not bad. Okay, so I was in 2022. That year turned my world upside down because everything I thought my life was going to be was no longer.
Oh, this is going to tie perfect into the next question. Sorry, go ahead.
And for one of the places I was in, I started a new job. And it was the job that I prayed and fasted for. I thought it was the job. And the job became so mentally taxing. I had a project due Monday. Sunday, I was working on the project, and all my work got deleted. I was coding, for context. And I had a panic attack right then and there. I had a panic attack to the point where I started hyperventilating. I couldn't breathe. And my mom we had to go outside to walk. I had never felt so out of body. And my uncle and my aunt were in town, and they literally drove up as we were walking outside. And they said, we're going to pray over you. And they prayed over me. And my mom said she watched the exchange of whatever was burdening me kind of come off my body. But the grief that I experienced was emotional and mental. Like, I think that was the beginning of the spiral downhill. Because, girl, I'll just go ahead and say it. Even with the relationship I thought I was going to be in, and where I thought like my life was heading, it destroyed me to see something I wanted so bad not be good for me or not be the right thing for me. And so to watch it fall apart, I started to just not want anything or expect God for anything anymore, because it was like, okay, well, like, things I want must not be good, so it's better if I don't want anything at all. And it was like my mind almost became like the devil's playground, because over the next like 4 months, I really struggled with depression. Like, dark, very dark, and my anxiety would keep me up at night. And I was just grieving. I didn't know what it was I was grieving, because I was like, okay, well, like, I need to leave this job. Obviously, this is not the job for me. But I was grieving because it was just like, it was like something just broke in me. It was like a hope kind of broke in me, because
that's real.
It was like a hope broke.
That's real.
And I couldn't just zoom past it the way that I normally zoom past things. Normally I get over things quickly. I just couldn't do that. And I'm sorry, what was your question? I'm sitting and I'm like, ooh.
You're fine.
I'm going like I felt myself teeter.
It was a moment in your life that you're battling with grief of something and how you overcame it.
So, for one, Ecclesiastes says there's a time for everything. A time to celebrate and a time to mourn. And I was in a time of mourning, and I didn't know how long it would last. And so I had to grieve. I had to cry. I had to let that thing run its course. Because the alternative is get over it, turn into something else, come back even more, come back even stronger. And so I had to just grieve it. I had to just let it out. And I had to let it out with God. Like, there's ways that you can grieve. There's ways that you can cope. And I had to keep putting it at his feet. And I would use other things to sedate it, but for the most part, I had to sit in it, because it was like the Lord was purging something out of me. He was purging something that didn't look like him, or something that was too much of me and not enough of him, and it was purging out. So as I was
That's
purging,
good.
yeah. So it was just like, it was a flush. It was like a detox flush of my plans, of my dreams, of my ways, and how I thought the Lord was going to bless me. And it was like I died a death of my flesh, because I forget where it is. The scripture is failing me, but it says, Jesus said, if wheat does not fall to the ground, it does not produce anything. But when it dies, it produces wheat. Jesus said this. I think it's in John. Hold on. You just have to pause this later. But I think it's in.
Find it. It took you that long to find it.
Yeah, it's in there. I'm telling you. Okay, I found it. So he says, "Truly I say to you, unless a grain of wheat falls into the earth and dies, it remains alone. But if it dies, it bears much fruit." My life, there was just pieces of me that just had to die. And it was grief of a life I thought I wanted. It was grief of what I thought the Lord would do. It was grief of my plans. And I had to die to myself. It was a surrender, and it was a flush of all of these things.
I just feel like what you're saying is what I experienced when I got back here.
Yeah.
Because I was
Down bad. I was down.
and I like what you're saying. I'm like, yo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I had to just, I just wanted to get past it. I just wanted to get past it so bad, and it was like I couldn't get past it. And
You had to sit with it.
I had to sit with it. And even then, while I was sitting in it, there was a point before I really started taking it to the Lord where I was sitting in it so long that it was consuming my mind. So then like I said, my mental health started going downhill. Then my physical health was going downhill. And even my spirit was just low. And my mom, thank God I have a praying mother.
Come on.
In a praying community, because if it was up to me, I'd probably still be there. And honestly, the Lord, he could have pulled me out at any time. But I thank God for that grief now. Thank God for that grief. Like I said, I died. Let me not say it that way. My flesh had to die.
Yeah.
And then I had to get up under other people. Because shortly after I started serving in Social Dallas, and just being in the presence of other people, keeping
isolated.
myself isolated, not staying in my pity party of one helped. The power of presence does so much. The power of community, the power of people just holding your hand and saying, "Hey, I see you. I don't know what you're going through, but I see you. I'm praying for you. I love you. God, you have a purpose over your life. God is still good." I mean, just speaking
I'm proud
the word.
of you. I support you. Like, yeah.
You still have a
Words
purpose over your life.
healing.
Words that have healing, anointed power. Hearing those words.
Yeah.
It was like, and then it was in January. In January, I came home from work, and I was physically seeing shadows. Like, it was spiritual warfare. I was enduring, and this is not to scare anybody, but I said I need to go lay down. I just want to go to sleep. And it was on day 2 of my fast, and my mom was like, "You just need to go lay down. You need to go lay down," because I felt like I was genuinely being attacked. And I told God, I don't really want to be here. I said, I don't want to be here anymore. And I went to sleep, and I heard the word Elijah. I heard the word Elijah.
Stop, I'm gonna cry.
I heard the word Elijah when I woke up, and I started reading Elijah, and God was like, "Take a nap," and that's what I did. And it was like the Lord was like, "I know you're hurting. I know you're depressed." I was there with Elijah when he was being persecuted. I was there when, like, everybody was up against him while he was doing my work. I was there with Elijah in his depression, in his fatigue. When he ran away, I was there through it all. Same way I've been here with you this whole time. All of this time has been rest for you to grieve, for you to mourn, because I've seen you through it. And then just seeing how God was like, how God dealt with Elijah with a lot of patience, with a lot of kindness, with a lot of just comfort. Counselor, you wonderful counselor, to counsel me in my grief, in my hurting stage. Was like, oh, you do care. Because I got to a point I was like, you don't care anymore about me. I said, God, you must not care. Because I'm sitting in this still. You must not care.
I literally, like, dear God, you must not care about me. Like, have you been in my prayer journal?
I'm telling y'all, we lived a similar life over and over.
Like, you literally, like, yes. Yeah. Everything. Literally everything. I even wrote about it in my book. I've been like, I don't want to be here.
I don't want to be here.
And there's nothing that I can do to, like, leave. So come get me.
Come get me.
Yeah.
Right now. Take me up. And it was one of the hardest things I've ever endured. Especially alone. Like, nobody could really walk me through it. Like, my mom, my dad, my girls could pray for me, but nobody could walk me through it. Nobody could walk me through the valley of the shadow of the devil. Nobody. But that fourth man in the fire was with me in the valley the whole time. I just didn't know he was carrying me. Because the best I could do some days was wake up.
Hey.
He was still waking me up. He was still breathing life into me. And so it was just like, I would say the way I dealt with it was living to see another day. Was waking up another day. Putting one foot in front of the other.
And it and if waking up was the one of the day, then waking up was the one of the day.
If I could go outside and walk and sit for 5 minutes, that was good enough. Because that builds. Because now I can start reaching out, maybe after a couple of days. Maybe I can actually confide in someone about what I'm dealing with. It was a day by day. Living to see another day was how I won. Because Satan wanted to take me out.
Hey.
And there were times I almost let him. You don't get the final say. And I didn't know it at the time, but the Lord was just like,
baby steps, my child.
Baby steps, baby steps. And that may not be the most encouraging thing to say, but it is the most realistic, practical thing that you can put into practice.
Yeah.
Of one foot in front of the other.
Literally waking up. If that's your win, then that's your win.
Then that's your win.
Because there were days when I just wanted to sleep, and I would wake up to go back to sleep. Mm-hmm. Like,
and they say sleep is a cousin of death. And it's not like, but like it's just like sometimes it's just easier to just sleep. I don't want to have to deal with anything. But there's breath in my lungs. There's proof that He is still operating. Yeah. Yahweh is still operating in me. Inhale, exhale, and live to see another day. And each day, with God, will heal.
So good. So wise. Are y'all crying? Because I didn't bring
I'm holding it together. Go
literally, because I was like, we got people in here.
Let's not speak too soon.
Okay. This kind of ties into everything that we were just talking about, but like, has there ever been a time where you felt like this is my moment? It's finally happening for me, and then it simply wasn't anymore? And if so, how did you pivot from that? Like, did you pivot into something new or different than you had originally planned?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I don't even know where to start with that one. Going back to like the job thing, I thought like, oh, it's my moment. I made it. I didn't. Peace and love. That wasn't it. And there's a Tyler the Creator. He did like a interview, and it was I love this interview. And he said sometimes the solution to the problem ends up being 100 times better than the original problem or than the original idea we had in the first place. And so being teachable, like adapting, because like I'm very stubborn to a fault.
Girl.
I'm very headstrong. Once my mind is made up about something, I'm seeing.
This is what it is?
Oh, I'm gonna see it through.
Nothing else.
I'm gonna see it through.
You're not swaying me.
You're still talking?
Or you decided? This is how it's going.
I was just telling you. I wasn't asking for your confirmation. I was just telling you. And so, like, while that has served me really good, that has caused me to bump my head the most, being so strong-minded. And so, like I said, laying it down and just being like, all right, okay, God, you are the author of my life, perfecter of my faith, right? So, I'm going to take you up on your word. I don't know how to pivot out of this, but you do. And so, it always ends up being the thing that you're like, I'm not going that route. It ends up being that. And so, for me, pivoting out of coding and into, now I work in finance. And not only is that a place I feel like the Lord has opened up for me, it's where I found a community there, surprisingly. Not surprisingly, that's how God works. I found community there. I found structure I didn't know I needed. I found discipline. I found things that I thought I already had, but severely lacked. And so, pivoting, being open for doing the thing that you may not want to do, or the thing that seems boring, the mundane thing, and developing from there. And I know that's not like super interesting, but that's the reality of it. That's just like,
because I think sometimes we can expect like this big old grand thing,
mm-hmm.
and it's actually in the small thing.
Mm-hmm. Despise not the day of small beginnings.
Come on, Zach.
This is
Ezekiel. I think you're right.
I think it's Ezekiel. Despise not the day of small beginnings.
Because the Lord rejoices to see the work begin.
Yeah, girl. But yeah, like, despise not the day of small beginnings, and let the Lord, because life ebbs and flows, and nothing is linear. This walk is like, when you really look at it, it's not linear. And so be open to what the Lord wants to do. Be teachable. Remain being teachable. Because the man that knows something knows that he knows nothing at all. As long as you are like a child to your Father, you're never going to stop learning, for one. Two, you're always going to be where you're supposed to be, because you're eager to be in a place where he is.
That's good.
And I felt like now I'm seeing those moments in the small moments. They're not these big grand things that it's like all of these small little pieces of fruit I get to pick from the tree day by day that makes me feel so much more joy than that big thing could ever give me. Like the big thing don't even be all that some of the time. It is, but just seeing the small things and how they add up, and how you have joy for the day, you have joy for the week, because it's not so much built up in this big grand thing, but it's in the mundane things that the Lord gives us. And
it's like a test of faithfulness in the mundane.
Mm-hmm. It's a test of faithfulness. Yeah, that's what I would say. Definitely. Yeah, that's good. That's good. This is so good. Yeah. I hope I asked the question.
Yeah. Because we was talking about pivoting.
Yeah.
That one tied into, like, you kind of touched on it in the question before, which I was like, oh my God, this is another question. But yeah, when it comes to having to pivot in those moments, you have to be teachable. Because especially when it doesn't look the way that you thought it was going to look, it didn't go the way that you thought it was going to go, then you have to be like, okay, God, well, what can I do in my now? Like that.
What can I do with what I have right now?
Like with me, I'm like, okay, this isn't where I want to be.
Yeah.
Life doesn't look like I want it to look.
Yeah.
I'm tired of the cards I've been dealt.
Yeah.
But let me choose to worship over worry. Let me choose to do what I can with what I have, and do what I can with what I got, and just be consistent and see what happens. And God bless the work of my hands.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
way more than I thought he would. Way more.
It's good. Okay.
Girl.
We're gonna go with, if you had to leave a piece of encouragement to someone, what would you share with them?
Piece of encouragement.
Or just like, what's something you like would want to leave someone with?
I feel like touch so many things. I don't know. Like, how do I wrap it in a bow?
Or let's see. Your favorite Bible verse.
There's been a lot of those.
Or just like, I don't know, maybe something you a year ago would have liked to know. Or, you know, like, I guess, yeah. A year ago. I guess, you know.
No, that's good. Those
like,
are all good.
Yeah.
I'm just, my brain.
No, you're fine.
My brain goes.
I'm like, how do I try to.
Oh, you said it. My
Yeah,
brain be interpreting stuff weird.
No, you're fine. You're fine. You're fine.
I would say, going back to the being teachable thing.
That's really good.
Being teachable, I think, lengthens your life. Because in Proverbs, I think it's Proverbs 3, it says wisdom bestows well-being. And you can only gain wisdom by being teachable, by seeking after the word and being receptive to it, and how wisdom lengthens your life. And so, remaining teachable, remaining in a place of being childlike. I think becoming an adult has taught me I don't know anything. And if there's any type of person that we should really kind of mirror some of our antics after, obviously it's Jesus, but also children. Children are so receptive.
Yeah, they're little sponges.
They're sponges. They're so receptive. They are so curious. They're so excited about the smallest things.
Any and everything.
Oh, a bird in the tree. I spy with my look. Like they see the world unprogrammed.
They're full of wonder.
Unwashed, unconditioned. And I think, and that's how, for one, the Lord wants us to be, because we are children of God, not adults, not grandparents of God. Your status to other people is not your status to God. You are his child. And so remaining like a child in your heart and in your mind, for one, allows you to grow in maturity and stature and wisdom, the blessing of Luke 2:52, but also...
Come on.
But also... I think you just keep your joy. I think joy really becomes your portion when you choose the small things, when you choose Jesus, obviously, and keeping your heart open, because what the Lord does with a willing heart is all throughout the Bible. I mean, by faith, you see the lineage of Jesus Christ come to pass because, for one, you remain open. And two, you're saying, okay, God, I'm going to take you up on your word. And I don't know what you know, but you know way more than I do. And, man, just the life that I've seen open up since last year with my podcast. Shameless plug, even with modeling, even with her, even just in the friendships and the connections that I make, I just see the goodness of God over things I never thought he would open or do. And because I've laid my plans down and even some of my questions and trusted you're good regardless of what my plans ever were, I've been able to see him move so much more. So much more. Y'all would not be able to know, like, I went through a very long period of depression because of the joy of the Lord that's in my heart now. Because this conversation just did my heart so good. Just because, we get to see God's faithfulness in real time in our story and in each other.
Yeah.
And
from the couch we sat on 3 years
from
ago.
the couch, y'all. From the couch we sat on 3 years to the couch we're sitting on now. Oh, God, that
I literally was going to say that and you said it.
you just see, oh, God, you're good. You're good.
Yeah.
That simple. You're just good. Thank you, Jesus. I catch myself saying that a lot now. Like my mom. Oh, thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Lord. I didn't get it now, but girl, I get it. Yeah, thank you, Jesus. Matter of fact. Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I'm trying to remind myself in this season, to just have a posture of God is good, he does good. Yeah. And until
even when it don't feel
area,
good.
yes, and until every area of my life looks good, it's not done.
Until it looks good.
Yeah.
That's good. That's another thing. It's good. Oh, what'd you say?
God is good. He does good. Even when it don't feel good.
Until it is good.
Until every area of my life looks good.
That is good. That is walking with Christ.
Yeah.
That is walking with Christ. It ain't over till it's good.
It ain't over till
it's good.
Wow. This is great.
This is good.
This is really good. I hope that y'all are blessed by it because I was blessed by it. I can't wait to watch it back.
Aww.
Like, this is my girl. What can Palmer say? Yeah, this is my girl. What is that? What's the whole video?
Yeah. I don't have this down. Yeah.
That's your girl.
And let me say this. Lexi is a blessing to be your friend.
Oh my god.
It is a blessing to call you a sister, to see your obedience in real time, to see the joy of the Lord be your portion, to see you choose the hard thing. I've just seen you stick out really, really hard things. I see you operating in purpose. I just you've been a blessing. I'm glad I got to sit up in your space.
Her?
And be blessed by you.
Deja.
Oh yeah. Yeah. But no,
I'm holding it together.
Don't. Don't. Lexi, wow. Me and Michaela firmly believe proof of God's love over our life is the people we're connected to.
Yeah.
And it's a blessing to be connected to you. If this is what 3 years looks like, I can't imagine 30. I can't imagine 10.
Yeah.
And I'm just really proud of you.
Deeper. Thank you, sister. I love you so much. But everything she just said, I'm going to just...
See it. Right on the
hold it right here. Literally. Replay it back.
Yeah, girl. I can't wait to see this.
No, this is going to be good. Really good.
This helped me get over some of my stage fright and my creative block, too.
Let's do it. We need more podcasts.
Coming soon.
I will put her link in the bio so y'all can go subscribe and do all the things. Yeah. Thank you guys for tuning in. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and share this video with all of your family and friends. This is just the beginning. It's your girl, Lexi Live.